So first of all, speaking of body arts, the first ones come to mind are the forms of tattoos, body piercing, makeups, body painting, or sculptures, and so on. There are different kinds of body arts in the world. However, eventually, they all come to the word self-expressive. Body art has been an accepted form of body modification for thousands of years, and the oldest known human that has tattoos preserved was found in the Bronze Age man, as known as Otzi the Iceman, from around 3300 BC. On the mummified skin that have 57 tattoos found in the glacier of the Otso Alps. Ever since then, tattoos have been accepted and made to present, widely spread to all over the world. Nonetheless, this art form is still being unacceptable and tabooed in some cultures or older generations. Sometimes stereotypes as bad, thugs, obscene, unprofessional, or rebellious. Mostly some negative labels. Some cases like hiring employees. Employers may not hire somebody because of their body art, and this is actually practicing a form of discrimination and racism. We shouldn't judge or reject somebody because of their first impression on their appearance. Wearing a suit or a tie would be considered as a good guy with a higher academic progress, while wearing casual wear such as baggy clothes with messy hair means disrespectful and unprofessional. That's not true at all. It is just some hobbies that everyone is different. As I mentioned before, tattoos are art forms of self-expression. It is where the designs are made by inserting inks, dyes, or pigments into the dermis layer of skin. Either indelible or temporary, this process is called tattooing. In the sense of experimental themes, it is also an art of expression, just different ways of expressing the meanings in depth. It is not necessary for creative talents to make a film. It is more of a healing process that helps to minimize the pain in ourselves, or to give vent to what messages that are wanted to be told. A masterpiece that combines all the feelings and messages that wanted to be interpreted to the audiences. They can be abstract and indirect, or it can be direct or straightforward. They can be any forms you want. One film I remembered was the skin film made by Emma Hart in 2007. It is a 1-minute document that the filmmaker has stuck part of her skin with sellotape and project the structure of skin to the film stock, allowing us to see some raging field of fine lines, yet recognizable. This unique and personal type of expression is more than just expressing. It is more of revealing her individual self to the world without concealing. Just like tattooing, a way to represent self and reclaiming our body and characteristics to represent either individualism or a particular community. Another expressive animation filmmaker is Woloshen. He simply scratches, paints, and draws on the film strip that when he projects it, it provides vivid colors and motion to express things from what he made. One example of his films will be 1000 Plateaus, that took him a few years to create. People around him at that time banned and think he is weird, thinking of how he can make a film without a camera and just uses a pen. But he finally did. The time he spent on this film isn't a waste, and people now just appreciate his patience and courage to make a film like this. So basically, What I want to say is that the film strip itself simply functions as a huge canvas, just like our body as a palette to draw on. It is not weird to have tattoos. It is just a kind of art that expresses things. Maybe the wearer's personalities, or maybe his or her own kind of beauty. To let everyone accept, it may need time to prove. Contemporary filmmakers like Thirza Cuthand mention genders in her videos, speaking for herself as them and some background of her indigenous culture. She also explores issues of identities, races, sexualities, relationships, and so on, trying to express the exclusion in our society and the desire to see inclusive values within the nation in the future. While tattoos are still unacceptable to groups of people, stereotyped by a persistent idea, giving a sense that tattoos rebel against social conventions. Sizes and patterns of tattoos also matter how others glance weirdly at you. The influences are big enough to determine as discrimination. Apart from that, some may like to place a tattoo on somewhere sensitive and private, that somehow people might also consider this as a seductive action. And instead, I think this is just a way to show and exaggerate their merits and minimize the shortcoming of themselves. These harmful reactions should be avoided. Having tattoos doesn't mean that they are not themselves. No one can judge somebody how a body should look like. Everyone is unique and special, as long as they like themselves. Thirza Cuthand also has tattoos on her arms. It is just a way to represent herself and her sexual orientation that she is special and proud of. She doesn't care what others think of her, and that is also what we need to be against. Having ink doesn't change who you are. It makes you more original.